First of all, these are so cute. I'm going to take my shoes off. If you guys didn't know, sometimes I be barefoot back here. I do like to talk barefoot. If I'm filming, I don't have shoes on. Don't tell Tanner.
It's in the, because it's technically in our handbook, company handbook, that you're supposed to wear shoes at all time because of Courtney.
Courtney messed it up for all of us. Okay, so let's go overhead. I want to show you all these little magnets. They're so cute. Here, let me turn this over. Oh, I thought it was green on the backside. Why did I never know that? Okay, let's put these here. Now look how dang cute these are. These are magnets, guys.
I love these.
I love them. Now we accidentally marked, we accidentally got some mark on here from the magnet because they were like stacked, but y'all, look how cute. I'm obsessed. Let me hold one up closer so y'all can see that. Look how cute. Okay, can you see it there? I just love these. I think they're adorable. And I will say, we went and tested different types of cutters. We tested like 27 different types of clay. I've got 27 different types of clay here. I will say, we started out with the Dollar Tree clay. Like they just have a $1 Dollar Tree modeling clay, and we thought it can't be that complicated, you know, like it can't be that hard. No, that was not the move, because it broke. It just cracked so easily. Like you barely touch it, it would crack. It would curl. And then we were like, let's use the Crayola air dry clay, which this product right here, this has been around for like ever and ever, amen.
And I have used Crayola air dry clay on so many projects and love it for its lightweight. It's just super easy, but it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work for us. It just curled up. I was thinking I had all the mess ups.
Oh, we do. Please hold. So some of these dried. Okay, first of all, this is the Dollar Tree that we use. Look at it.
Is it still bending?
She's still bending.
Oh.
She's bending. We tried to toast her in the oven and it melted. So
so it's not really clay.
No, but they do have an oven baked clay at the Dollar Tree. We bought this yesterday. I didn't know that they had it. Holly just so happened to find it when she was at the Dollar Tree yesterday. So they do have an oven baked clay that I think would work just fine. So if you want to do a Dollar Tree version of this, you can go get this oven baked clay for $5. The clay we ended up using was the Sculpey Souffle, and I've got it wrapped up so it stays moisturized. This has just got press and seal on it, but this is like the good stuff. If you're a clay person, you're probably using Sculpey, but it's way more expensive. This was like $14 or $15 at Hobby Lobby. I'll say I didn't buy it on sale because we were like getting down to the nitty gritty and I needed it, but I would have waited till it went on sale, which will probably be next week because I bought it this week, and they rotate their sales every other week. But this is the Sculpey Souffle. It was $13.99. You can get it for cheaper right now on Amazon if you just want to order it. I think it was like $11 on Amazon.
Now, I will say we had somebody ask, will the earring clay work? So you can use the Sculpey Souffle for earrings. That or the Sculpey 2. Some people use the Fimo clay. We ordered the Fimo clay from Amazon, but it came in and I'm pretty sure it was way too dry. Like it was almost dried out. We couldn't work it up. So that's why we decided to go with the Sculpey Souffle, because it is a little bit easier to work with than the Sculpey 2 or the Fimo clay.
Yes.
Those are going to be more of like your professional clays.
Exactly. Now, with that being said, so that was the Sculpey Souffle. That is what these right here are made of. And then we also have some made out of the Crayola air dry clay. I will say these are a little bit more textured and they're a little bit less white. So they're a little bit more of an off-white color, which honestly I don't hate. I don't really hate the texture either. I'm okay with this texture because like a postage stamp, I feel like it's kind of got a texture to it. But these are what the air dry clay ones look like. And then these are what the Sculpey Souffle ones end up looking like. So you can kind of see air dry clay, a little bit more off-white, not as smooth. Sculpey Souffle, like butter. This looks like a piece of ravioli. I mean, I could eat it.
Right, but we also need to, let's put a disclaimer on that air dry clay. The one that you're holding that turned out well is the one that we actually put underneath a piece of wood to keep it from curling.
We did put it under wood to keep from curling, and it did not dry until yesterday. We removed it and let it actually air dry, and then it did dry completely. So you can see we've done lots of trial and error. I'm going to tell you guys, the best one, Sculpey Souffle. You bake it, it's hardened, it's flattened, it's white.
Yep.
And it just did all the things that we needed it to do. So I'm going to say Sculpey Souffle is the best way to go. But if you're just wanting to do a fun little craft project, go get you some Dollar Tree clay, the oven baked Dollar Tree clay. It will be in the $3 to $5 aisle. It was $5, so obviously it's a little bit more, but you're not going to be paying $15 like you would for the Sculpey Souffle that you get at Hobby Lobby. Okay, now that we've talked about all the different kinds of clay, I'm going to move out the ones we don't want. Let's put those over here. We're going to keep this guy. And then let's talk about cutters. Now, a lot of you maybe have thought that we were going to cut the clay, which we have done that. I did make clay earrings with the Cricut like 2.5 years ago. 10 out of 10, don't recommend. You don't need to do that. Just get you some cookie cutters. We got these metal ones right here off of Amazon. These are all linked below. I really love this shape. It just looks like a stamp. You can do squares, you can do rectangles. These work really well. Plus you can wash them and actually use them for like cookies if you wanted to. But then I wanted to have this like indented look around it, because I feel like that the ones that we saw that we were inspired by had this like indentation around the image, and they were probably cookies or something. I don't know if they were magnets or cookies or what, but they were really cute. And so we ordered these from our friend on Etsy. Well, she's our friend now. We didn't know her before, but she actually gave you guys a code, and I think it's in the description. Can you double check? We have a code for you guys if you do want to order these so that you have this little indentation around it. These are, I want to say these are 3D printed.
Yes, so the stamp clay cutter set on Etsy, if you use code MAKER10, you can get 10% off these specific clay cutters if you want to get them.
Yes, so, and she was so nice. She even like sent us our package. She sent us a free cutter, and she wrote us like a handwritten note inside of the box. And something about a handwritten note in an Etsy package, like, I'm gonna be coming back. If I need more cookie cutters, even if I don't need them for here, like personally, I'm gonna go to her shop. So anyway, she is a small business, so make sure if you guys do want to order something and support a small business, that would be actually really amazing for her, I think. And I think it's a family-run business, which is even better. So anyways, those are the cookie cutters that we decided to go with. So you're gonna need, so far, Sculpey Souffle clay. We just got the whitest white that they have. If you want to do colors, I think this would be really cute in colors. They're not going to give as much of a postage stamp vibe, but like, they're still really cute. I feel like the white makes it look like a postage stamp. You know what I mean?
You can also use this same technique to do whatever shape magnet you wanted.
Yeah, you can make any. I've been seeing people make fruit shaped magnets. I'm obsessed. Okay, I'm obsessed with fruit stuff right now. I did fruit paintings this weekend. Actually, me and the whole family painted fruit this weekend. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. But so we've got the cookie cutters, we've got the clay. You're gonna need a rolling pin. This is like, Holly really went all out for us here. She got us the whole baking roller. But you can use one of these. You can use just a glass if you've got a glass cup, like a glass.
Yeah.
You can use that, or if you work with
pasta.
You
can do a pasta roller.
You can do a pasta roll. We actually used to have one of those.
We still have one of those.
We do?
It's in the box.
I didn't use it. I used this. So we're in the process of moving studios, by the way. This is going to be like one of our last couple live streams here.
Wow.
Oh, that makes me sad a little bit.
This one actually will be my very last live stream in this studio.
What about, oh yeah, because you're not here next week.
I won't be here next week.
That's sad.
This is, wow. Last live in this studio before we move.
Yep, that should have been our YouTube video title.
Yeah.
Lauren's last live stream. No, we'll be back in so we're getting a new studio if you guys didn't know. We're in the process of moving though. But anyways, get your rolling pin. We are gonna need some type of wood. Now, this is just some of our basswood that we have for cutting, and it's like almost the perfect thickness. that you need. So whenever you're actually rolling this dough, you're gonna wanna have something to stop it from pressing it completely thin. So you don't want it to be too thick, you don't want it to be too thin. And so we use things like this wood. You can also use paint stir sticks. Those work really well in my opinion. They're like the perfect thickness. So you put your clay in the middle, and then when you go to roll it, this wood will stop it from getting too thin, right? So you wanna use something like pretty thin. This is, I don't know the exact thickness of this, but I mean, y'all can see it's not super thick. And honestly, when I did these, I did not use it, and those are really thick. So, and it baked just fine. But you don't want it to be too thick. A lot of times, and I don't think with this type of project it would happen, if you were using like a, like a kiln, and you were using clay and it was too thick, it would literally burst in the kiln. But you don't have to worry about that here, I don't think. Unless you're making like really fat magnets. Don't do that. Make them pretty thin. So you're gonna need some parchment paper or freezer paper. You're gonna need some, this is like a hack I'm gonna show you guys. Saran wrap, grab that. Get you a little piece of sandpaper. This is an 80 grit, but you could use like any type of sandpaper. We just needed something to kind of sand down our edges. This is a really gritty sandpaper. You could use like a 280 or like a 220 and be fine. You're gonna need a sealant. Now, we played around with the sealants. Let me show you guys what the resin looks like. This is done with UV resin. Look how yellow that turned. And not only that, but these ones curled up a bit. So you can see the original color there. This is post resin. I don't know if it's over cured. This one's still a little bit sticky around the edges, so I don't think it's over cured. What is your theory on this?
I think resin in general can give you a yellowing effect.
Yeah.
Especially UV resin and over time. So if you don't have to have UV resin to seal it, I mean, you can if you want to. If you want to give it, I mean, that would give it a good aged look.
Yeah.
If you were going for aged.
Like a vintage stamp.
Right, but we were more so, I do like the finish of the Maker's Magic.
Me too. It's like a matte, well, we're using matte Maker's Magic. So there is a glossy and there is a matte. We're using the matte today. So you can also use Mod Podge if you don't want to go out and buy Maker's Magic. That is totally understandable. You can use Mod Podge for these. It just takes forever for it to cure. Maker's Magic cures a lot faster. And yeah. Okay, you'll need a little paintbrush too to apply our little stickers. You're also gonna need an inkjet printer and some copy paper. We did try to actually print these on as stickers. We thought maybe if there were stickers, they would stay better. That's just not the way. You really just need something thin. I even considered doing water slide, but honestly, printing this on copy paper was just fine. Like, it was just easy. I didn't have to go through the steps of using water slide paper. If you guys have ever used it, you know it's kind of a lengthy process. So we were like, let's just use what we've got, keep it as simple as possible to get the results that we want. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You're gonna need some glue for your magnets. If you're not putting these like somewhere where it's gonna be super hot, you can use just like a DAP glue, or honestly a DAP glue would work probably better than anything. DAP glue, or I'm not using my brain, Gorilla Glue would work. I wouldn't use hot glue. Hot glue is what I'm trying to say not to use. Yes.
Super glue.
Yeah, like super glue. This is the DAP glue that we like to use all the time. This glue's in here, but would not use that. I don't think. Would you?
No.
I don't know if that's supposed to be in there. We won't use that. Use
we'll
DAP
use
glue.
DAP glue.
You want super glue, not hot glue, nothing like that. And then you're gonna need some magnets. So we've got these little magnets. Now they make little teeny weeny itty bitty magnets. If you're wanting to do, like I have this one right here. We didn't make any with these because the magnets are too big for the back of them, but they have like those little tiny silver magnets that are extra strong. You can get if you're wanting to make some smaller ones. So with that being said, let's go ahead and I'm gonna show you guys how to roll out your clay. Now, you will have to bake this. We went ahead and pre-baked ours, obviously, because of time restraint. But what you're gonna do, we're gonna open up our clay here, and we're just going to, I have been using this burnishing tool to cut my clay. And actually, y'all know I worked at the pottery studio. Where have I not worked though is the real question. We would use like a wire and it would cut right through it. But this works really good. So we're just gonna cut a little chunk off, set the rest to the side. I did wrap that in press and seal because I feel like it seals it in really well. Can y'all see this good right here?
Yes.
Okay. And then you're gonna have to start kind of working it. It'll be hard at first, and then the more that you work it, the softer and more pliable it gets. E6000 would, oh, Lauren McCoy said that. That's a good idea, Lauren McCoy, E6000.
These girls they were asking if E6000 would work.
Yes.
And I said E6000 would work if you have it, absolutely.
Loctite is like my baby. I use Loctite on all my wood signs. It was the only thing I would use.
Do you have those syringe where you can press on both at the same time to mix? Is that what you're talking about, the 2-part Loctite?
No, but I have used that. And actually, I have used that when I worked at the pottery studio. When we would put magnets on the backs, we would do the E6000 2-part.
Yeah.
It stinks so bad.
Oh my gosh.
It stinks, but I like it.
There was I used that 2-part Loctite at one point, and it stunk so bad. I got it on a shirt that I had, and I had to throw that shirt away. Even after washing it, it still smelled like it.
Oh no, yeah.
Because I got it like right here on the chest.
Yes. Oh, and so you could smell it when you wore it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to, and actually, honestly, this is something, whenever you're working with clay, you have to kind of figure out what type of surface you like to work on. We were working on freezer paper a little bit, but I don't love it. A silicone mat is a really good surface to work on when you're working with clay. Would you say you prefer a silicone mat?
Yeah,
just like a solid, like...
A marble countertop like what we have, not marble, but like a stone countertop is my favorite thing to work with clay on.
Yeah. You just don't want it like sticking down. And obviously you guys can see it rolls up onto my rolling pin periodically. But it's not like a big deal or anything. Okay. That is pretty dang good for me. And then what you're gonna do, take whatever size you want. Now, you can definitely roll out more clay at a time. I just didn't get that much. Like I could have rolled out way more clay and cut way more of these if I wanted to. But the next thing you're gonna do, now this is a little hack and I didn't bring any cornstarch in here, but if you don't want your, like these in particular get really stuck, you can dip your cookie cutter in cornstarch. Like if I had a little bowl of cornstarch here, I could just powder it up and then go in and push it, and it will allow it to remove itself rather than, you know, sometimes when you poke it in and you pull it up and it's stuck inside here and you're like, crap. Like you gotta poke it out and then it ruins the whole thing. That cornstarch kind of prevents that. Something else I wanna show you all, and this is a trick that I learned whenever I would work with clay at the pottery studio. If you want softer, rounded edges when you're working with cookie cutters on clay, use saran wrap on top of your clay. So what I mean by that is I'm gonna cut one out with this and one without it so you guys can see the difference. So we're gonna lay some saran wrap on here. Make sure you're putting in you see how there's like a lip right here?
It's like a sharp edge and a dull edge.
Yeah,
almost.
You don't want to use this edge. You want to use the sharp cutter edge. And then we are just going to push this down in here. The saran wrap is going to cause it to have softer, more like pillowy edges. It makes it look more like a pillow to me. We would do this trick a lot when we were making Christmas ornaments to make them look, you know how some clay stuff just looks rounded?
Yes, and that gives you that rounded edge instead of so it would be more like the edge kind of drops off and then sharpens at the bottom versus if you didn't use that, it's gonna be sharp from the top to the bottom.
Yes, and I'm gonna show you guys really quick what that looks like. I'm also gonna show you how these cut too here in just a second. We'll roll some more dough out. It's so fun because you can just make like a whole bunch of these. You can already see a difference.
You can see the difference on screen.
Can you?
More of the pillowy side versus just straight.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and then I'm just gonna remove these. Now, if you've got a Cricut spatula, get it, because this is a really good time to use one of these. This is not Cricut brand, but close enough. Something flat, and we're just gonna kind of loosen up our edges to get this off of the table. Now, I am no clay expert, you guys. This is just, we're like standard clay crafters, okay? So I know there's probably better ways to do this. You honestly could probably lay cornstarch down, or like flour.
Flour your surface.
Flour your surface. Don't be like me. Just take your time to get these off of here. I personally really like how it looks with that saran wrap over it. I just love how it rounds the edges out.
Yeah.
The good thing about clay, though, is that if any of these corners are turned up like that, you can just gently kind of flatten them back out. No biggie. And then another thing, so we're going to bake this, right? We're going to put this, you're going to put it on a sheet of parchment paper on a baking sheet. You're going to bake it, I want to say it was, let me double check the temp for you guys.
210 probably.
Let me check. Because I was thinking it was like more than that.
Might be 245.
What the heck? It's on here somewhere. 275 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. For if they're a 1/4 inch. So, which these are about 1/4 of an inch. Okay. But you're going to want to put it on a parchment paper on a baking sheet in the oven at 275 for 30 minutes. And then when you pull it out, can you all see how there's like ridges like there? There's kind of, not the waves, but like ridges in between the waves. That's when your sandpaper is going to come in. Okay, so after you bake these, you're going to want to sand all of that off. And I left some of these kind of rigidy so I could show you. So this one right here, it has some of those edges. Now, a lot of times you can just kind of like snap them off. But if you really want to smooth them out, and I'm going to move these out of the way and show y'all how to do this, because I don't want to get a bunch of sand on my thing. That one came up a lot easier. So you can take your piece of sandpaper. I take the littlest piece. I will tear sandpaper so fast. Just tear it up. And you're going to go in here along all these edges and kind of sand the roughness off. This is going to make them look a lot more finished. Okay, and you're not going to want to do this. If you're using the air dry clay, you need to make sure it's completely dried before you go in and do this. If you're using the Sculpey souffle, you just want to let it cool down first, and then once it's hardened completely, you can sand it down. So yeah, easy peasy, right? Okay, now I want to show you all what these other ones look like really quick. Let me dust this off. Do y'all have any questions so far?
Nakia just asked, can you cut them on parchment paper? That way you don't have to transfer them. You can just pull the parchment paper up. Yes. Absolutely.
That's smart. That's thinking smart, Nakia. Okay, so let's just get a little bit more clay, and we're gonna cut one of these guys over here.
And we could even do this one on parchment paper and to show them how it works.
Yeah.
Just put it like underneath the pieces of wood.
You would think it's my first day on earth sometimes whenever I do stuff like that. Okay, we're gonna put,
Yeah,
you want to use this side? This waxy side?
Yeah.
Okay. So you could just lay your parchment paper under here, put your clay down, and let's kind of work it. I like to kind of work it with my hands first to soften it up, because if you go in and try to just start rolling it with the rolling pin, it's just not easy. No. I kind of like to like flatten it out, you know? And you really want to work all the bubbles out of it. If there is any, then we're going to lay it down. We're going to roll it out. Okay, and then You can take your little, these are our 3D printed ones that we were showing you all. You're just gonna take these and you're just gonna push it down in there. Now this will leave an imprint where our little print and cut piece would go, and then it'll cut out around the edges, which I think is so cool. Look how cute. I wanna make little cookies with these, like little postage stamp cookies. Are you kidding me? That would be so cute. And then there you go. You've got your little piece, and you can bake these. So, like I said, $2.75 for 30 minutes. Pull them out, let them cool. Easy enough, right? Does anybody have questions about the clay portion of this? We are using the wood pieces to make sure that it's even all the way across and make sure it doesn't stay too thick or get too thin.
So yes, it's to kind of keep the whole thing level.
Yeah.
It's just to keep the rolling pin the proper pressure on both sides instead of you having more pressure on one side so the right side is thinner than the left side.
Right. Okay. Now we've already baked all of our little pieces. They've already came out of the oven. These are all of our little stamps we made. Now, I'm gonna put like sizes together because we're gonna go into Cricut Design Space and we are going to need to make squares to fit our magnets, okay? Let's move these down here. All right. They look like little raviolis to me. Am I the only one? Maybe I'm just a hungry girl. Okay, let's go ahead. We're gonna open up Design Space. Yeah, we're using freezer paper, but I don't bake on freezer paper. It should be parchment paper. Okay, let's open up Cricut Design Space. Some of them have an indentation because of the cookie cutter I use. So I had some cookie cutters that were just the straight up shape of a stamp. And then I had some that were the shape of a stamp and had that indentation on them. So it just depends on what you use. We linked both of them. Okay, let's go ahead and close this out. We're gonna go find, now you can use any kind of pattern on these. Honestly, you could use like photos. I personally really love like the little fruits and like the springy stuff. We use a flower pattern, a fruit pattern. I'm gonna show you two different ways that we did this. Okay, these are the ones that we made. Aren't they so cute? These are the ones that we made. The blueberry pattern is my favorite. So we're gonna go and get a pattern. I'm gonna download this blueberry pattern and I'm also going to download this floral pattern. So what we need to do is go to the Makers Gonna Learn website. If you guys are new here and you've never seen our website, this is where you would come to get all of your files, all of your fonts. Whenever you sign up for $1, you'll come straight here. You'll have access to this dashboard. And this is where you can find all those classes I was talking about, the master classes, the resources, all of that lives here. You're even gonna get access to our Facebook group. So there you go. But we're gonna go to cut files really quick and I need some water. We also have new files. Our files come out April 1st now. They used to come out the first Thursday of the month. But look how cute this mermaid is. I'm obsessed. Honestly, y'all, go through our files, see what you like, use what you want. Like we could literally use this pattern. I mean, any of these would work. We're gonna type in blueberries and we're gonna go get this blueberry file because I just think it's so cute. Oh, if I could spell it right, that would help, wouldn't it? Blueberries. Blue. B-E-R-R-I-E-N.
Look, no nails. They're blur. Blur, 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 blur.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. What you got? Is that not the cutest pattern ever?
I know.
I love it. Okay, and we're going to open up that folder. If you can't find it, go to your File Explorer or your Finder, and it will be in your downloads. And then you're just gonna double click on that zip folder, or you may need to right click and unzip, or right click and extract. And then you're gonna open up the folder, and we are gonna actually be using the PNG today, okay? So let's leave this here. Just leave it hanging out. Go over to Cricut. We're gonna come over here to the far left where it says upload. And then we're gonna select upload image here. And then you can either click browse or you can just open up your Finder and then drag and drop it. That's the way I like to do it. It's a lot faster than having to go find it and then hit apply and continue. We're gonna be using the flat graphic and then I'm gonna hit upload. Now this blueberry comes in without a colored background. I'm gonna show you all how to put a colored background behind this. It's very easy. But I want to go get my flower pattern first too. I always like to have the files I'm using in my canvas so that I can know. Can you tell me what that file is called? That floral pattern? I bet it's like abstract flower
Colorful floral pattern.
There we go. Okay, download it. Double click on that zip file to open it. This one is just a PNG. So we're just going to keep that there. Go to Cricut. Go to upload again. Go to upload image again, and we're gonna drag and drop. Beautiful, beautiful. And we're gonna select flat graphic. Okay, yeah, Cricut was not cooperating yesterday. We were experiencing that too. Okay, oh, this pattern is just Gorgina Bobina.
Gorgina Bobina.
I mean, it's beautiful. Okay, now what we need to do is create squares the size of our magnets. Now, I want to show you all something because I was measuring these with what I like to call a seam allowance. I know this isn't sewing, but I was debating on if I liked it closer to the edge or further from the edge. Courtney liked this version. I was thinking I liked it closer to the edge. What do you like, Lauren? You like it closer or further?
I don't know. I can't really tell. I like them both.
I like it further, I think, now that I'm looking at it. But yesterday I was like, wait, that's kind of weird. But then beside this, I'm like, So depending on what you like is how you're going to need to measure your squares. Because whenever you come in here, we're not measuring from side to side directly. We're measuring just the area that we wanted. Tape. We usually have one right here.
Yeah, I know.
Please hold. Thank you. Okay, so what we're gonna need to do now with these ones that already have the indentation, that's what we're gonna wanna measure. So I'm just going to measure from indentation to indentation, and that is 0.75.
Everybody's saying something in between the two.
Oh, okay.
Like that the one was too much and the other one was too little. Like,
okay.
One had too much white, one didn't have enough white.
Okay, we can work with that. Now these little stamps are 0.75 by 1 inch. So I'm gonna pull in just a basic square. We're gonna unlock this shape. So make sure your little lock looks like that if you're making a rectangle. Our width is gonna be 0.75 and our height is gonna be 1 inch. Beautiful. I need 2 of those. Okay, we've got 2 stamps. Same size. I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate it to make our lives easy. I'm gonna move those to the side and then we're gonna make some mower. And all we're gonna do is just keep measuring these. This is, now look, I'm not gonna measure it from all the way edge to edge. Like edge to edge, this is about 1.75. I'm gonna measure it from just a little ways in. Y'all said somewhere in the middle. So let's do, what's a little less than 1.5? 1.35?
Well, 1.5 is 1.5.
Yeah, so a little less would be like 1.35. We'll do like, okay.
Yeah, 1.35, 1.4.
Okay, let's do.
Or 0.4.
Let's do a 1.35. This is a square, so we don't actually have to unlock it up here. Let's just do 1.35. So I only have one of those. I'm gonna set it to the side as I get done with them. Is that the same size? Yep, we actually need 2 of those then. So you can hit Command D to duplicate, or you can hit this little copy icon up here. And then let's see how big this one is. This is my favorite one. Like that size is my favorite. So let's do 1.5. Ooh, makes me nervous. I'm gonna do like 1.6. Let's just duplicate one of these and bump it up to 1.6. Good thing about these is they're perfectly square, so you can trim them down if they're a little bit too big. I'd rather it be like a little bit too big than a little bit too little, and then you're like, dang, I gotta go and recut all these. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then we've got this one. It's gonna be a little less than, or a little more than 1.5. Okay. I'm just gonna duplicate these squares. It just is faster. Let's see. What did I say? A little more than 1.5. Let's do 1.65 on that. And then height-wise, let's do 0.75. Beautiful. We only have one of those. Okay. I think that's good. We ain't got to make all these. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but we do have this size. Should we make this one? Let's do this one too. He's too cute. We can't not. Okay, this one is going to be exact. Remember, the ones that have this border, I like to bring it all the way to the edge. So we're going to do 1.25 by... Anybody want to tell me what this measurement is? 1.25. What is that? If you can drop it in the comments, you get a gold star for the day.
What is it? I can't even see. I can't see from there. You're acting like I have a vision.
Supervision.
Yeah. That is, it's 16ths, so it's 15/16.
I need a decimal point.
Oh. Girl, I don't know that.
If somebody can tell me what
1.9 or 0.16. I'm trying to do the math in my head really quickly. 7.5 is 3/4. I'm going to go with 0.94.
Okay, 0.94 it is, honey.
I'm just going with it.
I'm gonna trust that you know because you made a better guess than me. What did we say it was the other way? 1.25. Yes. Okay.
I'm Googling it.
We'll rotate that one 90 degrees. Beautiful. 0.9375.
0.9375. I said 0.94.
Yeah, I mean, that's it.
I literally said 0.94.
That's it.
I did the math in my head, guys.
You're so smart.
I mean, I might be a math girly.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've got all the patterns that we want. We've got all the things. Audrey, if measuring is not your strong suit, welcome to the club, girl. Welcome to the club. And I was a woodworker. So if I can do it, you can do it. I believe in you. Anyways, measure them twice if you really don't think that you've done it correctly. But from here, I'm going to select all these and we're going to turn them into guides because I need to see what I'm cutting out. You know what I'm saying? I want to know what I'm cutting out. Now, from here, I'm going to show you the easy way. If you just pull in a basic pattern like this one, when I say a basic pattern, I mean a pattern that doesn't need to have a background added to it. It just comes in as it is, ready to go. This one doesn't have a background. I'm going to show you guys how to add a background to that. And also slice it because it's kind of tricky. But if you just pull in a background like this, you can go ahead and let me make sure all of these are at the front. I'm gonna select all of these and go to arrange. Oh, they are, they're already in the front. I know that because this is grayed out. So you can zoom in. You can take this, place it wherever you want. This corner is my favorite. I don't know why. It's just my favorite. Or I even like this green.
I mean, I love how you can pick with this pattern specifically. You can pick what area you want to cut out.
Yeah, like if
you want part of the big flower, if you want the full big flower, if you like the top left, the top right.
Yeah,
it really is your personal preference.
And the guide helps you to like see everything. I kind of am like digging this green and pink right here. This whole situation. Okay, let's do that. So I'm just going to put it right there in the middle. I'm going to drag and select both the square and the pattern. You can see right here, the pattern selected and the square, and I'm going to slice. Now you could technically exclude here using the combine and exclude, but if I want to slice out of this anymore, then I want to keep this excess. Imagine this is like a piece of fabric and you're just cutting a square out of that fabric. This little square guy is going to be one of our magnets. But if I wanted to, I could come in here and take this one and I can cut that out of this one as well because I've got that excess fabric. You see what I'm doing here?
Mm-hmm.
So we've already done those. I'm actually just going to delete those. You don't have to delete them if you don't want to, but we don't need them. So there you go. So we've got these two are cut out of that. I'm going to actually cut one of these out of here. Actually, let's do two. And I actually like cutting them all out of this same pattern because then on your fridge, they like won't line up perfectly, but they'll all look like they go together, you know? And I think that's really cute. So you can only slice through 2 layers. So I can only slice through this one. We're going to hit slice. And then I pulled that other one right there. I'm going to hit slice and then look. We can move that. We've got these super cute little stamps. They're so cute. We'll do these 3 with the blueberries. Blueberry. I don't know why I said it like that. The bloobs. Okay. Now, if you're wanting to cut this pattern and you want it to have a color behind it, because the one I did was I did yellow behind it, you see? If you want to do that, what I'm going to do is just pull in a square and I'm going to unlock it and I'm going to make it bigger and I'm going to make it whatever color I want. I'm going to start with this yellow. Let's bring our pattern down so we can see what it looks like against it. Okay. I do not like that shade of yellow on that. But we can go in here and play around with the yellows we like. Like if you wanted to do a muted yellow, that's not cute either. A peach is not bad. Maybe a purple? No. Or a green. Like a sage
Ooh,
green.
I like that.
That's pretty. Okay. I like it. Okay. So, raise your hand if you think I could flatten this and just slice it out. We're going to try it. I'm going to flatten it because I'm like, oh, that looks perfect. Like, that's what I want to do. I'm going to take my little shape over here. I'm like, yeah, this is perfectly fine. Here, let me send this to the back so you can see. So you see my little red square, right? Now, watch what happens when I go to cut it. I can't. You can't do that. You can't slice out of that flattened image. And I think it's because Cricut's like, hey, there are 2 layers there. I know you tried to flatten it, but there are 2 layers there and I cannot do that. Okay, so you have to slice the color shape out, the color square out and the pattern square out separately. So let's select this again. We're gonna unflatten it so it's back to its 2 layers, right? We've got this layer and this layer. And what we're gonna do is take our little square and we're gonna slice it out of that, okay? So we've got our green square, and then we're gonna take our guide, drag it up here to where our blueberries are, and we are going to select it and slice that out. And then you're gonna take all this extra stuff. We don't need that, we just need this. And you're gonna bring it over to your green square. Let me zoom in. We're gonna select both of those, hit align and center, and then you're gonna flatten it, okay? Now it's one piece. Now we can print it and it's the exact right size that we need. Does everybody follow? I'm gonna do it again so you can know exactly what I'm doing. So basically, if you pull in a pattern that doesn't have a background and you're like, man, I really wish it had a background, and then you go to try to slice it out, it's not gonna work. So you have to cut the color out first, then cut the pattern out. You can do the pattern first. It doesn't matter the order, but you have to do them separately. So let's take our little guy right here, for example. We're gonna bring it over here, and I'm gonna cut it. Actually, it would matter, unless you wanted to duplicate your square. So now you have 2. It's always good to have duplicates anyways, honestly. Okay, so we're gonna slice our square out of our green. Slice it. And then we're gonna take this square, slice our little blueberry pattern out. Okay. And then we're gonna bring it over top of it, and we're going to select both the layers, hit align and center, and then flatten it. And there you go. You've got your other little blueberry magnet. So not too hard, right? Not too crazy. Does anybody have questions about slicing it out of a pattern without a background?
Not
Nope.
that I have seen.
Okay, good. We've got one more. Should we do words on one? We'll just, like on the green text, we'll just like add some words.
Sure.
What's a cute little saying? For some reason, happy camper popped in my head.
I think it's because you are just in your camping zone.
I'm in my camper era. Okay, that's a cute font too. Luna Rose, that is a Maker's Gonna Learn font. Okay, the spacing's kind of weird, so I'm gonna go to advanced, ungroup to lines. I'm gonna skip, what?
We had somebody, Lorraine said, is it just me or do the blueberries look like little blue breasts? Little blue teeth.
Little bluebies.
Bluebies.
Bluebies! That's hilarious, they kind of do, low-key.
They do.
Okay,
They got that at you for your vision though.
One's looking at you and one's looking for you. We all know about that around here. Okay, I'm gonna add a little offset to my text. I'm just piddle farting around, you guys. Get creative, make your own. Don't be scared, don't be scared. Oh, that's kind of cute. Let me contour out those holes. I can't stand the holes. Okay. Now, I'm gonna take this square and I'm gonna cut some green out. Let's slice her out. Whoa, Cricut is like getting crazy over here. This guy, we don't need this square anymore. We don't need this. Let's just get rid of anything we don't need. We're dropping the weights. I'm gonna flatten my offset with my text. I'm gonna zoom in and not work from 1,000 meters away. I'm so sorry, I do it all the time. Okay, and then we can select all this, align and center. And then we can attach. Oh, when I say attach, I meant flatten. We're gonna flatten it. Okay, now we've got all of our little pieces. Well, ain't that just darling? It's like our own little art collection for the fridge.
Love it.
Love it. Okay, now from here, all we need to do is go print it. We are using the Maker 4 today. I'm sending this to our Canon TS9521
Blah,
printer.
blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh, have you guys seen Hotel Transylvania?
That's where I got that from.
Ruby says, that little baby's gonna say blah, blah, blah. She says it all the time. It's so cute. Okay, I'm gonna send this to the printer. Actually, I've got all my old ones up here somewhere. Let's get rid of those. Group and hide. Y'all know the drill. I always group and hide my stuff on my canvas. Okay, continue. I am printing this on literal copy paper, so you don't need anything special. We are gonna send to printer. And we're gonna change the printer here. And I am gonna add bleed to these because they are full color images. If your machine is not calibrated all the way, or if it's not calibrated well, you're gonna need the bleed on. And we're gonna use the system dialog to get the best quality print. We're going to hit print, and then it's probably gonna pop up back here. It always does. And we are gonna hit rear tray, and we're gonna hit best quality. Actually, I don't need rear tray. We're just gonna hit auto select, best quality, print, done. Okay, and then we wait. One's gonna bring us our little print. We are gonna cut these. These are print and cut. Now, like I said earlier, if you are not, if you do not own a Cricut for whatever reason, if you're new here, you can totally just print these out and cut them with your hands. You can also do this with fabric.
Fussy
if you
cut.
have scrap fabric. Yeah.
Oh, yes, you could do this with fabric.
That'd be so cute.
That would be cute.
Okay, and then I'm gonna burnish it down. Use a well-loved standard grip mat or a light grip mat for this. Okay, you don't want to use a brand new standard grip mat. If you're using copy paper, it will rip your paper. And now, for our base material, they do have a copy paper cut setting. I use the middle weight, the 24 pound, excuse me, and it works just fine. And then we are going to load this into our Cricut. Beautiful. You could use Cricut sticker paper. It's a little bit thicker, and like I don't want you to waste your money because you can use copy paper, but you can use Cricut sticker paper. Yes, so The ink will try to bleed a little bit. I was just extra careful with mine, and one of them it did, like this magenta one. You can't even tell. There are black marks on it, but it's from the magnets because we stacked them. But there was pink over here, and I just wiped it off. You can't even tell anymore, so it was fine. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it. How long do you need to leave after baking? Do you mean, I mean, just until it cools down, till it's cool to touch. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Y'all, this machine cuts so fast. It's crazy. Michelle says, I see expressive eyes, not bluebies. I could see that too.
Yeah, I was about to say I could see that.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to flip the mat over, and we're going to pull these off of the mat carefully. Don't break your mat doing this. I may even use, let me wipe this off. I was using it for clay, but take your little spatula or even a weeding tool or like reverse tweezers to kind of get the edge up off of these. You don't want to just get this though and pull it off. You want to just kind of loosen them very carefully, and then you can flip it over and kind of pull away. You're not going to pull down. You're going to like hold it taut and pull. So it's a little curved, but we're going to be gluing these down. But if I was to like fully rip these off really fast, it wouldn't be a nightmare. This little Happy Camper one is actually really cute. Okay, I'm just making a pile over here of my little prints. And I actually love that we can just use copy paper for this.
Yeah, I knew that we would get people asking, like, why use copy paper? It's just because it's inexpensive.
Yeah, that's
and
literally it. Yeah, it works.
I mean, if you want to use a more expensive material like a nice sticker paper, absolutely. But you just have to be careful you still have to be very careful with bleeding.
Yeah.
Even if you're using sticker paper.
I think these would be adorable with like black and white family photos on them also. And I also would love to do with fabric. Like I think fabric would be really fun. Okay, now what we're gonna do next is we're kind of pairing these off. Oh, I think we did perfect on the seam allowance, y'all. I think we did good. Just pairing them off, just kind of dry fitting is what I like to call this. Make sure everything fits good, looks good. Cute, cute, cute. Look at us. Professionals. Okay, then I'm going to take my Maker's Magic. I do not recommend that you do that, what I just did, because it'll make your sealant very bubbly. But this was like really gooey yesterday. And see how bubbly it is? Don't do that. Don't shake your sealants. But this is such a tiny project, it's fine. And I can stir the bubbles out. Probably should have just stirred it anyways. Okie dokie. I'm really worried about this black bleeding on this Happy Camper, so I'm going to save him till last. So, what I did was I would paint Mod Podge on here. Get you a good coat of Mod Podge. Honestly, if you wanted to go for that vintage stamp look, this is like the perfect color. On this, this one is the whatchamadoodle, the air dry clay from Crayola. And then we're just going to place this on here. And you may need to move it. I can't grab it. You may need to move it around a little bit. Just make sure there's no bubbles or anything. And then we're going to seal it down. I try to just go over it like one time because then it starts to get wet and the color tries to bleed. And we're going to set that to the side, let it dry, and then we will do magnets here in a minute. Those do darken when you add the sealant, but the Sculpey Souffle does not. And I think it's because that air dry clay is just so much more porous than the Sculpey Souffle. Like the Sculpey Souffle is just solid, you know? Mm-hmm. And then we're just gonna add this on. So stinking cute. Okay. Honestly, y'all, this would be, look where it's bleeding. Just take your brush and wipe it off. That's all I did. This would be such a fun craft night with your friends. Like you could pre-cut out a bunch of these colors, or you could just have fabric ready to go for people to cut out of, or magazines.
Yeah, that would be so cute.
I would love that. Can you give me a paper towel? I'm just gonna wipe my brush off and then brush off any of that color that's trying to bleed. We can't have none of that. Okay. And then set it to the side. That one looks really good. I love that. I even like whenever we add the sealant over top of it, it like deepens the color of the prints. It's really cool. We haven't had time to test out putting designs on these with the stamp in them because we ordered these. She shipped them to us so fast so that we could have them for you guys. Okay, let's move it, make sure it's centered. And then we're just gonna seal it down. I really want to make sure the edges of this one get like down in there and kind of hug the edges. The color is trying to bleed just a little bit. I would honestly recommend for y'all to kind of let your prints dry for a little bit and then come in and try to attach these. So like if you were doing a little get together or something and you wanted to print some out, let them print them the night before so they're sitting out. But look, that's still so cute. Okay, time for a happy camper. We gotta commit, everybody. Add some of this. Okay, they're so cute. They kind of look like so the Crayola ones are giving chicken and a biscuit crackers.
Yeah,
don't
actually.
They? Really, this is the chicken and a biscuit shape. But like, come on. Or
those
maybe
are
this
so
is.
cute.
They're so cute. Okay, I got one down here. I'm gonna show you guys how to put these magnets on. So you wanna let these dry for a while, just like let them hang out. I wanna say they're fully cured after like 24 to 48 hours. If you use Mod Podge, it takes for dang ever.
I think it's only 24, it should be for Maker's Magic.
Oh yeah, well I say that, but these are not, these are like pretty much dry and I sealed these yesterday.
Oh.
But I'm wondering like, I don't think it's been 24 hours. They're almost dry though. So anyways, just let them sit for a little bit. You're just gonna take one of your little magnets and take your super glue. Now these come with 3M on the back. So 3M is super sticky. I'm not really that worried about it, but we gonna add some glue just in case. A little dab will do ya if this will come out. Okay, so we're gonna let those dry.
Literally, dab glue takes like 2 seconds.
Yep, and it's got.
That's why it's my favorite.
Yeah, same. Okay, that's it, guys. What did you guys think? Look at all these magnets.
These are so cute.
I mean, I could just sit and make these. This is like very fun crafting for me. There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.